Well, was it more than probably mom will get
When Maine and I first came to Chabad, we were still struggling with a pushback from our children about Judaism. We started noticing that Shraga was extremely playful with everybody in Chabad, playful, sense of humor, engaging, and most important, he really respected and honored everybody no matter where they were on their journey. One night, Shraga had a lecture at Chabad, and the lecture was on this topic. And afterwards, we went up to discuss our problem. And the advice that we got was, just love them no matter what they're doing, no matter how they are. And we really took the advice to heart. And the result was that Josh, who was lost somewhere in Guatemala, came back, came to work with me in the business, and eventually married Eliza, and they're raising a family in the neighborhood. Morty and Charlotte came back from New York, and Morty came to work in the business, and they started raising their family in the neighborhood. And David came, and he came to work in the business and married Dee Dee, and they started raising a family in the neighborhood. Eliana is still up in nursing school, but what we have is our vision of a family as we always wanted it. We feel that Shraga and Mendy are real partners in our whole life. And Maida and I contribute what we do to Chabad monetarily and with our time because we're grateful.
Perfect timing. Just short. You don't yell at him. We're going to start. Rachel and I heard a woman, Esther Sternberg, who started the Neshek campaign. The whole goal is to encourage more women to light Shabbat candles. And I felt very connected to that because after my sister died, we lit a Shabbat candle for her, myself and my daughter Emily. And then when Judy died, we also wanted to do the same thing to honor her memory. And this had been a really special time for Emily and I together. So we invited Esther to come speak here in Philadelphia, and Emily, introduced her and spoke about her project and her Torah portion, Chaye Sarah. And we had over 60 or 70 people here, and there were many families here who had never lit Shabbat candles, and since then they have.
And to hear that there are people lighting Shabbos candles now from Emily's event is very heartwarming to us to know that Emily has had that impact on others.
And at the retreat, after Esther spoke, all of the women went into, the lobby, and everybody lit Shabbat candles together. And it was, hundreds of women. And it was truly the most beautiful glow of light I had ever seen in my life. And it was really overwhelming. It was really emotional.
And that's ultimately the mission of Chabad, to light that spark that's within all of us. And many of us may not know that we even have it within us.
I was really grateful to be at that retreat. Shraga and Michal were there with us, and we spent time with them, and it was very special. I, came back a very different person.
Ultimately, what drives people is a search for a sense of purpose, for a sense of meaning. And I believe that Chabad of the Main Line gives everybody the opportunity to discover that inner purpose. Some through Hebrew school, some through preschool, some through adult education, some through coming to religious services, some through putting on tefillin, some through lighting Shabbos candles, some through coming to Kiddush. But each individual in their own way I think the contribution that Chabad gives to the main line is to allow the individual to see how their destiny is caught up in community and give community the opportunity to support the needs and the passions of the individual.
When he came to our home and offered a Devar Torah at my mother's Shiva a few years ago, Shraga had the ability to speak to the community that was there that night and offer a message, not only speaking volumes of our mother, but in a way that touched our hearts, but also touched the community. And that's the essence, I think, of not only the Chabad movement, but we as Jews to be able to have that connection and touch one another in a way that heightens our connection to God and to our heritage.
When I think of a community, I think of a puzzle. Each individual piece is extremely important.
Community is at a place that people could connect to. People could come themselves, bring their families, and have a spiritual home.
Well, I don't know where else there is in the world where you find people that have a not an edict, but a
Moral obligation.
but more than that. That's like the raison d'etre. That's like that really is that's what it's all about. Is taking care of each other.
Yeah.
Like that's like the basic thing.